the church or the religion you never knew you had. Welcome to the place unknown, religion seated when you were grown. Hidden lessons went along, truth is here now in this tone. Shadow plays on the wall, you never knew you learned it all. Secret speakers, echoes call, feel the rise, don't fear the fall. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked, rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked. They whispered while you dreamt so deep, planted truths while thoughts were free. In the dark their secrets keep, now you're part of this belief. From unknown roots your faith has spread, follows you where'er it's led. Watch the shadows lie in bed, find the path that you've been fed. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked, rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked. Whispered while you dreamt so deep, planted truths while thoughts were free. In the dark their secrets keep, now you're part of this belief. From unknown roots your faith has spread, follows you where'er it's led. Watch the shadows lie in bed, find the path that you've been fed. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked, rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked.
We are live. What a tune that is. Loving it. Welcome. I debate in the morning at UK morning time, but I suppose it's still night time for the Americans or whatever. Midnight, I think, for certain regions. See how well the Globe Gangsters can do hosting a debate, and in the tradition of the most ridiculous things that people can debate, we are debating horizontals being parallel. So I will be live. So for anybody who wants to stay up in the US, I'll be getting up early. Saturday morning, imagine that, having a discussion with somebody about horizontal on Saturday morning.
Quick question about that.
Yeah, go on.
I had a thought and then I didn't think it was a good idea. Are you going to show the live chat?
No, not their live chat, no. No,
Okay.
That'd be just ridiculous, wouldn't it?
Yeah, what see in some aspects, I think it would be a good idea,
Yeah, you think it might be?
but in other ways, you're gonna have to be like on top of it. I'm gonna try and get up so I can help, but
Yeah.
you might have to change the script. It depends what's posted. But if we're trying to show what goes on behind the scenes, I think people need to see the
Yeah, yeah.
chat that runs alongside
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think
while
they
you're in
said
there.
that they're going to have extra moderators to deal with it. But in saying that, Dawn's just become one of the moderators. So
This is what I'm saying. This
Great
could
gatekeeper.
be, yeah, this could be a good example of showing people what goes on,
yeah, yeah.
with this kind of thing.
It ought to be a 1-to-1v1. I mean, they were talking about the format of it, and they're talking about it. I kind of thought it might be a 1v1 unless it's just a open Discord pylon.
Well,
I'm sure that's going to
again,
go, but we'll see.
we're trying to find out what the debates are like and how these people are, hosting debates. Yeah, it's been
Yeah, especially
interesting.
sorry,
No, go on.
especially if they're like if they advertise and promote that they want people to come around and talk, and they have live streams like medicinal mass media sometimes streams live streams in there. Let's go in with a different perspective. We're not part of their group. Let's see how it goes for people that want to go in and do this kind of thing.
So is the main platform in their Discord? In the Gangster Discord, is that where the
Yeah.
main
That's where-
platform is? Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
sort of
where
subject to the rules of
debate's
that
going to be.
platform.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, but it could get a bit silly.
Yeah, with the amount
they'll
of
have a
mods that
horizontal.
they have, But yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. We're testing it. I'm well, I don't know how much I'm going to be around this particular arena and how much longer, to be honest. Hopefully the discussions are going to be able to be had, right? But I think with what's going on at the minute, there's a couple of different sides of what's going on, right? Because I know that people have been calling me a flat earther. I mean, I'm probably going to go with the title of the person that's most said over the internet that I'm not a flat earther. Those words are spoken the most by me. I don't think anybody in the history of the internet will have said those words more than me. Typed them out on the Twitter. Probably I hold that record too, still, even though I've hardly ever been on Twitter for the last few years. But I bet I still hold that record. So, yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to, it seems, people like Will Duffy, they're promoting Flat Earth. I mean, he just did a thing the other day. I mean, he's paying for free? Or is that a golden ticket for somebody else? I don't know. Witsit,
golden ticket's a
Jaren,
sponsor, outside
somebody.
sponsor. I think you said it was somebody guy called Harmon.
Well, there's a lot of people giving a lot of money to flat earthers, right? So that's one side of it. But then on the other side of it, there's a load of people that think we're evil. Like, that's us, and we're not even flat earthers. So I don't know what they think of flat earthers. Whether flat earthers are okay, I don't know. They might just be model afflicted group of people that are allowed to. We did actually have this. I wouldn't mind going over it, right? Betty did it. There's a copy image. I'll put it back in the chat. And you guys See this? Did you see it? The
Yeah, I've got an opinion on this. I've got an opinion. Okay, so what's the 1 in 6 young people? Okay, so when think about if you went to college or university, that kind of thing. The whole point of you going through your teenage years and stuff is to rebel, right? And I think a lot of people ask that question, young people ask that question, would just say yes, they do, for for shits and giggles at the end of the day. So I don't know whether you can take that as like a serious thing. And who decided to ask that anyway? Like, why is that now a question that people go around asking? Like,
well, yeah, I know
seriously.
perhaps more than most that there's many different ways that these guys can derive flat earther, right? So just saying you don't know might be enough. Like for the, like if they like, what is the question?
Depending on the questioner, you could have someone asking if when they set up a level or a water level tool or even a spirit level, if they're leveling out a bookshelf, and they say yes, level is horizontal, if that they're a flat earther.
Yeah, that could be.
We've seen that around these places.
Yeah, that's true. Unless, did anyone read the actual whole article? Did it mention what the question was?
Well, I don't know. It's in France as well, so it's only, like it says 1 in 6 young people, but then you read it, it says a recent study conducted by reveals surprising beliefs among young French people aged 11 to 24.
Young French people that have been protesting on the streets for the last how many years? I like I said, I think quite a lot of them would have just gone against the mainstream because of their political stances, that kind of thing. It's just a weird. Who's going out and asking this question anyway?
Well,
why?
Yeah.
Why are we pushing it even further? If it's a bad thing, why are we having these discussions? Like, surely you just put out the information, whatever the truth, whatever the facts, and then just stop pushing it, stop talking about it, and then people won't. At the moment, it's become like a talking point that everybody wants to be famous apparently at the moment. And what's better to go on and talk about a controversial subject, that kind of thing. There's all kinds of factors going on.
Yeah,
to do with this.
The link for me that's weird is the link to critical thinking, because how can there be any link to critical thinking when you're talking about a belief, right? Whether you believe that the thing that you live upon is flat, which clearly it's not, or the thing that you live on is a sphere, which clearly it can't be. So, or something in between, or who God knows what. Like, it's all a belief in the end. So what does critical thinking have to do with a belief? That's what's strange for me. And
it's only a belief in a theory. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
Yeah, it's not about a
theory.
knowing.
And what even is the theory of flat Earth?
Exactly.
Like, what is it? Does it involve mountains being flat? Because if that's what it actually entails, then yeah, that's pretty dangerous. Because people haven't got a clue what flat Earth is. That's dangerous. People like swapping what flat Earth is in the minds of people. That's dangerous.
Yeah. Again, it's just weird to me that critical thinking comes into anything that ends up being a belief. That's just what's strange to me. Are we gonna say that there should be critical thinking in your idea of whatever faith you might have? Is that where we're going now? Like, you're a Muslim or you're a Christian or you're a Buddhist. Where's the critical thinking in your faith? That's the whole point of having a faith. Is there's no critical thought necessary. It's faith.
I think
this. So what are we talking about here?
Precursor, right? There's not much critical thinking goes on. Let's face it, right? Modern day
So we've
times,
seen,
it's
absolutely.
2024. There's not much critical thinking going on right now. And it's got nothing to do with TikTok. But the way these articles are being led, you believe that it is TikTok that's the problem. And it does say at the end of this thing, it says, how far does this trend go, and what are its implications? Well, I don't think people can see the implications of things anymore. I think that's gone. That's part of the critical thinking that's
Right.
gone. People can't see the implications of the statements that they make. Hopefully we'll try and
Hang on.
explain that tomorrow.
I've got a couple of other things to add on. So in the same survey, 19% believed aliens constructed the Egyptian pyramids.
Nice. Stargate.
20% assert that Americans never landed on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And 27% are certain that humans were created by a spiritual force rather than evolving from other species.
Wow.
And I'm surprised those last two stats are as low as they are. But that's the French kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think if you asked American kids or even UK kids, I bet you get a different.
So
a
it
different
says
percentage.
it actually says further on down. It says on TikTok, regular users percentage believing flat Earth theory is 29%, and overall survey population is 16%.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe TikTok is the platform that kind of drove the UK curriculum to include this, the statement that the Earth is not flat; it's a sphere. In as I spoke about, I came across in my daughter's education, and because I'm not really that. I'm not I'm not aware of TikTok in that sense. I mean, I know it exists, but I don't go there. So, and yeah, I know there are big kind of flat Earth platforms there. But I wonder if it was the influence of TikTok that they were kind of picking up on, not on like Discord or YouTube maybe, but more TikTok where the kids are hanging out. If they think that's a kind of a rising topic, maybe that's why they want to squash it.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I spoke to a teacher and I kind of, I spoke to him and then he was late into the class and my daughter overheard him talking and it seemed like, he'd got this idea that I was a flat earther somehow. And I asked him the next day about it. I hope you didn't think I was a flat earther. I was asking you yesterday. I kind of got that impression through some things you said after you got back in class and my daughter heard you. So, and he said, "Oh no." But and one of the little parting things I said, "Well, yeah, but we know horizontal's horizontal, eh?" And he said, "Well, in relative terms." I said, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yeah.
So he'd already got something in his head, obviously, that wasn't horizontal being what I know horizontal is in reality. He'd got something else, and it's only recently that I found out he's got a master's in science. So he's obviously got an agenda, as or a narrative in his head about something. But yeah, maybe seeing this thing about TikTok, I wondered if that's what it was that was driving them to include that in the curriculum for the kids. And there's no kind of critical thinking about it. It's not like, let's discuss this. This is what people are saying. And on TikTok, it said blah blah blah. Let's look at the ideas. Let's see what people are saying about that and where they come from. It was just a blanket. No, it's not that. You be a boss and you be a secretary and play out this scenario of talking to each other and try and identify what's a flat statement and what's a spherical globe statement, and that was it really. So and like yeah, putting a hex on on the idea of talking about a flat. So it seemed to me to be from that direction rather than any critical thinking about this is how you could deal with it, if you like, or if you came across this kind of these questions, then these are some talking points, or these are some things to consider. Or, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know, like, because when it, like, we were talking about it earlier, weren't we? Like, what does it matter anyway? Like, why is this shape of the Earth thing
Exactly right.
something got to do with critical thinking? Because it seems backwards. I mean,
Absolutely.
you should be critical thinking about why they're bothered about it. Like, that's a good question to be asking. Why are they saying this? Why are they concerned about kids? Asking kids questions on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Can you, to that point, Bev, do you still have that the picture of the critical thinking thing that's up in your? I think it's still right, or was up in your son's room.
Yeah, I'll see
Remember
if I can
that?
find it. Yeah, I took a picture of it the other day.
It's worth putting up again and going through that and talking through that, because you're exactly right. Because I think, wasn't there on there like asking the question why or whom does this help or something like that? Like, those are you're exactly right.
Who does
Those
it
are the
benefit?
questions.
Yeah.
Who does it benefit? Exactly. Who does it benefit? I mean, what are they trying to get at? Is it simply that, well, on this one thing that we may or may not know for sure? Again, I'm using the word know as in a knowing, right? Not a belief. On this one thing, we need people to accept this one thing that we absolutely know for sure. Or is it, we don't know shit, but we want to get people to accept whatever shit we put in front of them? Because I suspect it's probably more the latter than it is the former.
That's more backwards critical thinking, though, isn't it? Like
yes,
it's insidious if that's what they're trying to do, or it maybe they're trying to push it as though it is critical thinking, right? Like a backwards reversal sort of thing.
But it's not. It's not. It's ensuring the received opinion, right? And we talked about that before. We talked about
ensuring the received opinion about critical thinking, right?
Yes.
Which is wow. If we've got to that stage, then truly 1984, we're on the way.
On the way, well on the way.
It's also weird because what happens normally when you tell the youngsters that something is bad, what happens? Or they say, authority tells you to stay away.
If your parents or anything like that, it doesn't. Yeah.
You rebel against it, and it makes them more interested in it. So it's that.
Yes.
And there's people with psychology degrees out there that could have told them this, but why are they still doing it? Because they apparently want to push it for some reason.
Well, I think especially in places like the UK, you can get the authorities to push it so that there's consequences if you don't accept those kinds of things. If you don't accept a certain behavior or a certain, I guess behavior, belief, right? They can come to your house, pick you up, and put you in jail. Maybe that's where they're going with it.
Yeah, there's definitely an approved narrative going on. That seems, all of us are trying to be corralled into a PC way of speaking, or what can be said, what can't be said in public, or maybe even in private. It depends on who hears you. Some people might get triggered and think, oh, we better report them before things get out of hand in some private conversations you had. So strange times, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it. I can't even find the picture.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I am keeping looking for it. It's just struck me as a weird backwards thing. I mean, I don't know how many people. I mean, I think most of my audience is people 40, 50. 60,
28.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I know. there's not many youngsters around. Although there might be some interested in the logic and the thinking sort of stuff, problem solving type scenarios that we get onto on the level sort of stuff. But this is, most of us have got kids. Maybe kids are grown, right? But maybe they're not. Maybe they're right in the heart of this education system. And like you said, the children don't tend to. The education system, I know, because it was what brought me into it, was, and the teachers had already managed to sway my lad into thinking that it was different stuff that we did. We did different maths. We don't do it like that anymore. We did different things. So it's not really much use you asking your parents about this sort of stuff, because every time you do, you go into school, they say, oh, we don't do it like that anymore. We do it like this. So, there's a division there between the parents and the children. And I knew that. So I had to come and try and work out sort of this sort of time where I knew once he's out of the school and the education system, then there's a hard job to be done, I think. I think it's pretty hard to be able to take that stuff that's been ingrained and sort of incorporate it into a discussion, because there is a divide. There's a divide that's been put there.
I found just so you know, Bev, I found an interesting one on the internet. Just put it in the live chat.
Challenge all assumptions.
I think this is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good start. But I mean, as we've found, certain people they take offense at that.
Yeah.
You challenging their assumptions. So that's why I don't think it's ever going to work in the school system. You can't have kids asking the teachers,
challenging the assumptions.
teachers.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know what the kids are going to be taught critical thinking is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just to follow the critical thinking process of the teacher and not question it. And be taught that is critical thinking, because that's the education system, at least up until higher education. And I'm not too sure how indoctrinated the higher education is. I have been there.
I wonder what subject. I wonder what subject it would be that would cover critical thinking. English, do you think? Or maths, some logic and.
Well, I would imagine they'd try to put it within the whole thing, because if you're talking about flat Earth, right, it's not got a subject of its own. There's nothing there. Same goes for the globe, right?
Yeah,
it's just all over sort of thing, isn't it? It will be incorporated into maths, perhaps. Maybe some maths problems will involve globes and stuff. Maybe, the art projects and all of that sort of stuff. Just put it in the minds, I think. But I don't know why they won't start telling kids that just mountains aren't flat. Like, that's it. That's all it needs. It's not flat. Look, there's a mountain. I don't know what else the rest of the flat Earth theory is. Do they take the overall thing, the moon landing and the aliens and all of that? Is that all part of the flat Earth theory?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how they put it out. The alien theory, the I don't know, Roswell and all of that sort of stuff. The moon landing theory. Oh, I don't know, because they don't talk of that, do they?
Definitely not.
Peter was saying, like the flat earthers were the worst, the worst of the example of the conspiracy theorists when he was talking about it, like, in terms of on Twitter, a couple of weeks ago. So, if that becomes a kind of general view that all of these things are lobbed in with, if you think the Earth is flat, then then you carry all these other tags with you as well. You know, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're an anti-Semite, you're a whatever.
Yeah,
Lots of things can thrown in there.
They can add all sorts of things on top of the label once they give you the flat Earth label. But I guess that's why I've been saying I'm not a flat earther, right? So adamantly, I'm not taking a label on because I'm just not a flat earther. But these guys want to try and put me in the flat Earth. So, I mean,
desperately,
from my knowledge, right, from what I experience, I think these guys want to make everybody a flat earther. They'd be happy if that number was 90-odd%. Because they'd have more people, they'd have more fingers to point at people. I don't know what else they're trying to do.
More people to assume that they're superior than.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is, right? I'm so much smarter than you people because you're a flat earther. So the more flat earthers, the more superior they become. I think that's a valid hypothesis.
Yeah, I've been saying that like it's mountains and valleys make it not flat. But they say that makes you a flat earther. So saying mountains and valleys aren't flat actually makes you a flat earther to certain people. Now,
sure.
If they're the ones doing the survey, I'm not so sure how these other people squeeze through. Because, everyone would be a flat earther. You don't know about anything. Nobody's taught anything about the globe. And unless you just go round asking people, "'Tis globe?"
Yeah,
and they'll
"'Tis
go,
globe?"
Yeah, "'Tis globe." Or, don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I guess that's what this arena is. So how long has this arena been going? And what has anybody got at the end of it? Other than, I don't know. Anyone got any proofs of anything? Just a lot of finger pointing at people, assuming that you think this and you think that. This is what your model says. Nobody ever actually talking about what is. They've forgotten about reality. That's the problem. So what was the other one? So what have we got? Oh, number 1, challenge all assumptions. Number 2, epoche.
Yeah.
Number 2, straight in there.
Love
First
that.
one, challenge them. Challenge them straight away. First thing.
Yep.
First thing you do, challenge all assumptions. Second one, epoche.
Withhold your judgment.
Yeah, just put it in that basket over there.
Withhold your assent.
Yep.
That's correct. Yep.
Revising conclusions based on new evidence. So that stuff that you've got in your suspending judgment in your epoche basket, review it. Go over it. Got some new stuff. Have a look at it.
See if someone's full of shit when they say the Earth is flat or the Earth is measured flat. Right? Something like that, just to say an example. But be careful because you might get the elder bear treatment.
Yeah.
Right? Right? If you ask too much about how is the Earth measured flat there exactly? Could you give us the process that's utilized to measure the Earth flat?
At least show me the bit that we're going to measure.
Right.
I'll ask the people how we can measure it, but let's start off with that.
That's it. That is the basis. Where is it? Where is this thing that we can say?
Where's the baseline? Can you point to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been laughed at. Where is the flat bit?
Mm-hmm.
People have really, laughed at me and groups of them. They say, "Well, where is this flat bit?" I mean, was it last week? A flatsoid held up a ruler and said the ruler is the flat Earth. And he put some bits and pieces on top of the ruler and said, "This is the topography, but the Earth is the ruler."
Yeah, he did a plate with us, I think, last time.
Yeah, where is the ruler then? Where's the ruler?
He said the bottom of the plate isn't even flat. So I don't know what he's going on about. Like the idea, if that's the flat Earth theory and people are really going along with that, then yeah, I'd be concerned about that sort of stuff. People just like listening to flat earthers and, you know, not actually critically thinking about the things that they say. But why can't you critically look at a mountain and say that's not flat? That's one of the opinions around here that doesn't seem to be accepted. You have to play a little game with people, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which definitely doesn't involve critical thinking at all. It's suspending that sort of critical thinking. Number 4, emphasizing data over beliefs.
Beliefs. There you go. That's what grabbed me when I saw that.
Yeah, I think Eric DeBay did a video today. A knowledge or belief type thing. He was going over that sort of thing, which is, I guess, you don't want to be taking it from Eric DeBay, but you do want to be considering this knowledge over belief. Data, it calls it. But, I mean, I think the data is the... I keep going back to Euclid, right? So, Euclid did some books. He did the elements of geometry. But then after that, there is what's known as Euclid's data. And with that, it shows you that what you can do with the minimum parts, you know, so the geometry gives you the idea of the process, how you can go over it. Data allows you to know what you can do with it, sort of the trigonometry version, right, of the geometry. So the geometry works because of triangles and circles, and you know that's how the elements lay out. Well, data is the trigonometry, right? You only need this angle and this side, and therefore you can, you know, derive certain things from it. So that's the way I look at data. I don't see it as a load of numbers wrote down, because it doesn't mean anything. There has to be a something behind the data to be able to gather more information from it. And it's saying there over data over beliefs, and I think that's what the idea is. You've got to have a process there, just instead of a belief, which, listening to a lot of people, they have a belief in a formula, but no understanding of what the formula's there for, how the formula works, what's the data behind the formula. Again, very wise. Number 5, the never-ending testing of ideas. Oh, I like that.
That's good, isn't it?
That's a good one. Testing of ideas. Some people will say they don't want to be tested. You know, if you've got an idea to do something, then it doesn't need to be tested. But like we do, we have a test. We have a Realising Euclid test. I think everybody should test those ideas for themselves. Even if it's just a mental concept of it, walking through these ideas, thought experiments. You can test those. I like that one, the never-ending testing of ideas. Number 6, the perspective that mistakes are data.
I like this one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you can still gain information from failures.
Yes, but that's not data, right?
Mhm.
Mistakes aren't data.
The perspective that mistakes are data.
Yeah.
Gets you to think about it, the perspective. Somebody's saying it's pronounced data. It's not. It's data.
Okay.
It's data.
Yeah, data.
That's a character in Star Trek, isn't it?
Indeed.
The earnest consideration of possibilities and ideas without always accepting them.
Almost more epoche, right?
Well, yeah, I was asked to make an argument for flat Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that I believed it was flat, right? I was just asked to make an argument, and that's the sort of thing. It's just considering possibilities that you could make an argument for it. I mean, you're asked to do that sort of stuff in schools now anyway. I think my son was asked to do those sort of things.
I think that's a big part of critical thinking. If you're unable to consider, other ideas or possibilities without the idea that they have to become your dogma, right?
Mm.
Then you're always stuck with either never performing those, getting into those ideas or possibilities, or every time that you do get into that, it becomes your new dogma, and you're constantly moving, right? You're either not thinking or you're constantly shifting from dogma to dogma to dogma. I think that's what's happened with a lot of flat earthers, right? They saw something or a few things that might have been confusing with the globe model, and then they jumped to another model, grabbed hold of another piece of dogma and replaced it.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it's got that in brackets. It's got always in brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's got to be there. Because then, if the education system has taught people to accept these things, learn by, I don't know, rhyme or whatever, just repetition, just keep going over and over. That's something that, you may be, again, let's talk about the religion that you never knew you had. I mean, is that how you gain? Is by being given these things and them just filtering in like getting a back door, just sitting in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
And you end up accepting them. It says always, without always accepting them. As if, most of them you do accept, but, always is just like a couple of them or something. And I like this next one as well. Looking for what others have missed. Because some people don't like that. They don't like, have you not? Because I think that, they don't like me for that. For pointing out things that they might have missed. I mean, they're normally pretty obvious things, like horizontal and vertical being perpendicular. And the implications of that alone. Sometimes it's enough for me. Because I have a firm understanding of this. I've tested it. I've got another test sorted anyway. Hopefully we can get quite a few people doing this one. Maybe there might be some sneak peeks over the next few days. Maybe in the debate, who knows? But we've already done a test. It's already been done. We didn't want to make a big deal out of it because it was just for us. And this sort of thing, you know, all of this that we're going to go over here is for people to do for themselves, to be able to gain this sort of knowledge about everything for themselves. Nobody has to take anybody's word for it. This is something that you do on your own anyway. Something that anyone can do. Work yourself through a process. But you have to remember the outcome is always going to be Tis Globe. Always. Every time. Whatever answer it's going to be, Tis Globe. How you get there doesn't matter then. If you know that the outcome is always going to be Tis Globe, and globe's just a shape, then, I mean, what does it matter anyway? It doesn't really matter. You're just saying it is a shape, especially when the shape is a non-geometric shape. There's very little meaning in it anyway. But if that's always the outcome, then it doesn't matter how you get there, because you know that it's like a cheat sheet, isn't it?
Yep.
The outcome's always going to be that. So, I mean, what else do you need to know? The sums don't have to add up, because it's nothing like that. Everything just equals Tis Globe. We can just go on about talking about things that happen in reality then. Looking for what others have missed. Askin says, sitting around talking about moving on is not moving on. You just become what you despise. Nobody's doing that. I don't think you'd become what you despise anyway. All we've ever been doing is chatting with I don't know. I guess
And don't
the only person could tell us really is Elder Bear. He's the latest person to be around here, and he might not be around forever.
But don't we have some responsibility to speak out when you see crap happening,
Yeah,
like bad things
challenge
happening?
all assumptions. Number one,
It's
it's right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you could just go away and not say anything, but then, well, nothing would ever change. The world would be even worse.
Yeah, and nobody said like we're talking about moving on, because we're here. Like we don't need to go anywhere. Like we said, I just said I've had enough of dealing with these people. That doesn't mean I'm going anywhere, doing anything. Emma says we've still got to be able to challenge all of this stuff. People don't want to chat. Yeah, people in this arena.
Someone's feeling sorry for themselves at the moment.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could sit there and do it in our live stream, or you could not. Entirely your choice.
But there's a lot of people that have been I don't know, they're over interested in something which I don't think they quite understand. There's not well, I don't know. my learning process is over. Like I did say that, you know, that my son has finished his college now. So it is time to move on, but that was the plan all along. That everything that we've been doing has a purpose, and we have been leading to this point. The moving on part is a natural sort of progression.
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm still in this learning process, very much so. You know, I haven't got to the place where I go, oh, same old story, this is boring. I need to find something else. Not that I need this forever, but, you know, there's still a lot of things that, you know, I am actually learning and getting to grips with, even if it's only the way that people obfuscate or the way that conversations go and how they kind of have to go. You have to talk in certain terms. You have to avoid certain terms. You have to be careful not to say the wrong word in the or the right word in the wrong order. You know, because it gets picked up on, and then you're hammered with it and labelled, and yeah, an imagined perception of who you are, and if that's useful to take that and throw that around and use that as to accuse you of something in front of people and try to ridicule you, make you look small, and all those kind of things. You know, if that bothers you at all, anyway, you know, it doesn't bother me much. But you know, I can see that's what goes on. They're looking for something to always anchor you to, and to try and make you, you know, the butt end of the joke all the time, so they can all laugh and go, oh, did you hear what he said the other day? You know, even if you made a mistake, even if you were just sort of fumbling your way through the art of knowledge and trying to work out what it meant, and not realizing that you shouldn't say things in a certain sequence that you might say normally, everyday language, and just chat to people, and yeah, you know what I mean. Sorry, yeah, I didn't quite mean blah blah blah. You know, you have to be really specific. It seems that's a learning process. That's kind of interesting. Kind of makes me yeah, talk to other people slightly differently as well now. You know,
Yeah.
to try and be more specific. Yeah, more exact.
But then
Having to
they'll
just
start calling you pedantic as well then once.
Yeah, that is.
So
it's a fine line between love and hate.
But yeah, but that's within this arena, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
just here. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it is going to be beneficial for us to be able to talk to normal people. But I mean, I consider myself a normal person. I've been in this arena talking as a normal person, like as though I'm my dad. You know, I've talked to my dad about most of these sort of things, as I imagine everybody does. You talk to your family about it, and you'll find out that certain things become pretty difficult. For, you know, there aren't many places that you can talk about these sort of things, really, when it comes down to it. Particularly when there's a lot of people out there that are willing to point fingers for you saying certain things. But that's only because they've learned a certain thing, right? They've heard this thing that saying this means that you're a flat earther. Well, it doesn't. That's a learned behaviour on other people's parts, because they can't say how that works. They can't work out how they come to the conclusion. There's no data to deal with. There's no process that you can go over that can derive this. It's a weird arena.
Yeah, it is just that trick to say, you know, well, do you think that 2 points with equal elevation is horizontal? Yes. You're a flat earther then.
Yeah.
it's automatic. It's kind of a game.
That's sort of, you know, I do sort of feel guilty about that, but I have put them in that position. Like I personally, I've done that, and it's been for a reason. To point out that, it couldn't be much simpler than this. It's just horizontal parallels. So there's a geometric understanding that goes along with this. You're going to end up at globe anyway. So you may as well have all of these things on it. It's a really weird scenario where you have to, take on a model of reality that is contradictory to reality. I don't see why anybody should have to do that sort of stuff. And then to be called a flat earther because you're just taking on what happens in reality and not going along with the contradictory consequences, the implications. I don't know. And it's been what we've been dealing with over the last 5-6 years is the ability to have these sort of conversations. Now, most people will be out there and, they'll be making judgments upon us. There's probably a lot of people listening to us, the hate watchers, that are, wanting to call us flat earthers, but we're not. It's not flat. Everybody knows it's a globe, right? It has to be. That's the end outcome. That's the final conclusion of whatever is 'tis globe. But you can have horizontal and vertical being perpendicular. Think nothing of it. What are the implications of horizontal and vertical being perpendicular? Well, don't consider them. Because if you do, you talk to a certain group of people, they'll start calling you a flat earther.
Yeah, it's been more fun and slightly easier in a sense to talk to the globers recently. That's been interesting because there's kind of an assumption. If you question, there's an assumption you're on the other side. You're the other part of the dichotomy, and you're the enemy. And if you
But
tell
you
them it's not
came in,
flat, they won't have it.
yeah, you came in literally asking the flat earthers questions, right?
Well,
you
that's what I
found
mean.
out
Then
how ridiculous the flat earthers were, and now you're
But
talking to the globers. They're wanting you to put you in the flat earth camp.
Yeah, but the energy of it, in comparison to talking to the flat earthers, it's a much more toxic, darker kind of area, really, because you're more than the enemy. If you ask them questions of their ideas, you're not just the other side, and we can have a little banter, and it gets a bit toxic with the globers. But there is a kind of thing like, do you want to join in the trivia quiz today? Mate, kind of thing. But with the flat earthers, talking to them, it's not, you're not just, I don't know, because maybe they don't know where to put me, or anybody who questions them about their stuff, you're far more than an enemy. It's a whole nother level, and that's been interesting. Just it's kind of been much lighter and fun, if that's the word, talking to globers.
But imagine though, now you're being put in a school scenario, right? And the teacher is being put as the globe, critical thinker of the globe, that's meant to be teaching critical thinking and children to challenge assumptions. But I think the globe can't be one of those assumptions that can be challenged. Not within this arena. Like that showed you, right? If one of these people are teachers, maybe like Flat Earth Math or whoever the other ones are, because there's a few that claim to be teachers. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it feels like it would be a. It shouldn't be, but it feels like it would be an extraordinary teacher who would allow the questions to be asked. Because I know that, well, they're squashed. They've got 30, 40 kids in a class. There's limited times to get these modules plugged into the children. So, they haven't got time for too many questions, and then you get labeled as the chatterbox or the one who asks too many questions, or so that can get squashed. A person who asks too many. They said that about my daughter this morning. I was talking, stood in line with her and with some of her friends. She's always asking, just another question, sir. I've got 2 questions, and they just call her a chatterbox and try to shut her up. It's kind of weird, really. That she's got, she wants to understand what's going on. She's got some very deep questions that they didn't come from me putting them there. They've always come from her. Always these kind of very deep questions. I think, wow, whew, that's incredible. You're thinking about those things. Where do we come from? It's very interesting stuff. So, but yeah, she's kind of questioned about why she doesn't like to be called a chatterbox for that, for asking questions and being excited and yeah, passionate about knowing things or understanding what's going on. But she has a great sense of justice as well. So, that those 2 things can cross with each other, because she notices when things aren't just, and that just brings more questions. So yeah, looking around, it feels like it would be an extraordinary. Well, it shouldn't be. I mean, all teachers should be that way, but it feels like it would be an extraordinary teacher that would allow maybe a never-ending amounts of questions and say and admit when they don't know, or to really look into things.
The people, I think, people anyway have a hard time, right? It doesn't matter whether you're a youngster or an adult or whatever. You've still got to try and work out what's going on. I feel quite lucky to have been allowed to spend this time in. Well, I know that I've met a lot of nice people, right? Here on the level, it's a great place, and there's a lot of people that they get it. They get what we're here for. They get what we're doing. It's not about shape of the earth. The people that have been and left this arena, I think, this on the level, they came in as flat earthers. They wanted something that we were never able to give them. Most of the people end up in this arena. I don't know. They do come into this earth shape ridiculous thing. We are in here because of that sort of thing, right? People have been asking questions. I might be one of those people that does ask questions more than most. Maybe Logos put me in a position, to have a certain few basic skills to just be able to ask some questions. However it was, I ended up here on Discord. And now we're talking. I'm actually just sat here in my room talking to a microphone, right? I've never had any idea that I would be here doing this 6 years ago. Most people have been in this arena, well, probably while they've been doing their jobs or whatever, just sitting around. But that tends to be what we do here. There's a group of people that just come in their spare time, come and have a chat. It's worth it. You wanna? Go on.
I never thought you'd be doing this either.
Yeah, she never thought I'd be doing it. I don't know whether you can hear that.
Just not your personality. Certainly not mine.
Yes.
Put myself out there on.
Yeah.
Like that, and on streaming and talking to people. I couldn't do what you do. I always thought you were more of an introvert than me.
Yeah,
It turns out
quiet.
it's the way around. You talk more than me these
Yeah.
days.
She's right. I mean, I wasn't I was within myself most of the time, trying to work out what was going on. So me coming in here has given me the chance to learn this rhetoric.
And the confidence.
It's just the rhetoric, really.
I wanted to say thanks for having me.
Rob Keane. How could forget Rob Keane?
Although you've always had a high tolerance for people with bullshit, so you know, I don't have that tolerance.
Yeah, I guess some of that stuff must have developed over time with you in this process of being in this place. And my perception of you is that you pick up things, some detail that just seems apparent to you that doesn't always seem apparent immediately to other people. You have this kind of knack for seeing, hang on, or the
Yeah,
question, the right question to ask.
I don't think my brain works any differently. It's just the rhetoric, finding the words. Yeah, I mean, everybody that I've talked to, and I'm not joking here, everybody that I've talked to has taught me something within this, particularly the people in on the level. Emma, Turn Up, he's not here, Redman, all of the old school people, spot on. There's been a lot of people that have taught us a lot of things over the years, and we've been doing it for normal people because that's all we are. There's no show here or anything. It is what you've been watching over the last years is just a load of people talking about stuff and wondering why people are so obsessed with what we do. We are just here to have communication and discussions with people because we do learn.
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I mean, just that aspect of you that makes me look in more detail somehow. I think I'm not paying enough attention. I'm not seeing something, and again, maybe another piece of the jigsaw, another piece of knowledge then you recognize something. And so it makes me kind of, slow down in a sense and pay more attention because I think, well, Bev saw that. That's clever. Bloody hell. I must be able to do it as well. Anybody must be able to do it, if it's there to be seen. So
a lot of this stuff, good. Right? In a lot of it, Euclid did an optics thing, right? And he said within the optics, I think genius, about like you can't see the thing until the light rays from your eyes are cast upon it. So it can be right in front of your face, but until you actually look at it to see it, you don't see it. And that goes for a lot of these things, right? There can be things that people say a lot that most people don't quite see, right? They don't see the implications of it, perhaps. Maybe they don't see where it's being said from, or I don't know. I call it critical thinking.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm painted at all for any influence that you've had on me, it's that attention to detail, that understanding of the inner workings of certain things that weren't apparent. Yeah, not what you're saying, not that it must be this, you must repeat this, you must, because that I can't do that. If it makes sense to me, makes sense, But yeah, that's I think that's probably what it is. It's that looking at things and in a different way, paying more attention, trying to learn more about things so you would know what that is. And it's not just from you, because I've learned some stuff from the Globers in the past 2 weeks, equally along those lines, but in a different way for different subjects, different kind of things. If only not to say that word in that order or those words in that order, kind of thing. That's enlightening too.
Well, I think what you're getting used to now is there's you have a conversation with somebody, and because, like we've said, everybody has their own globe. The whole idea of the frantic bunny ears on the globe is that it's just a picture that you have in your mind of the whole. When you put all of the little pieces together, you make a picture. A lot of people have placed it within a shape, but I mean, it's within your mind. But everybody's globe's different. So you're talking to certain people within a room, and there's a lot of different people in that room. So there's a lot of competing globes within the room. So you shouldn't really talk about a globe. It's like talking about religion in a way. Because, like, there could be a lot of competing religions in the room. And you don't want that to take away from the conversation. So soon enough, you'll be saying, but such and such a person said this. And that's contradictory to what you're saying. And they won't like hearing that either. And that'll sort of, they'll be not liking you for pointing out the fact that they all have different globes, where the sums don't quite add up. The data is missing.
My globe is flat.
But mountains aren't flat. So that's confusing.
Yeah, I know. But I'm okay with mountains being not flat.
Yeah. Again, I guess that's a sort of a condition that you have to accept, right? But surely if you can accept that you're like that, Rob, right? Other people might be able to accept that theirs is a sphere-shaped globe for the same reasons.
Yeah, yes, sir. And I tell those people, be at peace with your globe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm at peace with mine.
But, and now, would you, because I know you're a religious man also, would you class that in a similar sort of manner to the religion?
I'm not sure I follow.
Well,
what you mean? Because I wouldn't call myself religious. I do read the Bible, and
okay.
I claim to believe the Bible.
Yeah, but would you say anything about somebody who is, say, a Muslim? Like you would say the same thing to them about the globe, right? You have your globe, and as you have your religion, and anyone else is free to have their globe and their religion, right? That's 100%. Just who you are, right? So in that way, it's a similar consideration through the religion aspect of it. Because you know that you wouldn't be able to challenge somebody else's religion because it's like a faith-based thing. Same way as that you wouldn't want to challenge somebody else's globe. But I don't know whether you're still going into rooms where people are discussing this. Shape religion.
Oh yeah, I've been at Geo's a lot, at Earth Awakenings. I just hang out there when I'm not here. My headphone just died. Sorry, I can't hear you guys. But I was just saying, that's usually where I am if I'm not here.
Yeah. See, I don't know where they don't do that with religions, do they? Or are there groups of people that like to just sit around listening to religions argue about different things?
kind of do, but I haven't heard them in, cross, different faiths arguing. They argue a lot about, well, it's Christianity, the Bible. Over at Geo's, there was a big discussion and about who God is and what God can do, and some people make some really definitive statements about it, and they're in a position of being a loud voice, a louder voice, just a personality, almost a celebrity. Some, that seem to have this way of saying, no, it isn't that, you're wrong, and laying down the law and giving some definitive statement. That, I think, wow, that's pretty fixed. And people kind of just defer to it somehow. Maybe even if they don't in the head, but vocally, not many stand up to it. So that's kind of fascinating, really. People have almost this definitive opinions like they do about the shape of the Earth. Equally as definite they are about something they couldn't be definite about.
It's so divisive when you enter the room. It doesn't matter, any room. Then you're sort of forced into picking a side. Particularly if you're new to this arena. Like most of the people you talk to, though, in this arena, if you talk to them, they've been in it 7 or 8 years. And I guess that's because new people, they can't... they can't do it. They don't stay in it for very long at all. Because I think they get pressured.
Yeah, there's I felt that, going to talk from my own experience, there's a pressure to be on one side or the other. And had I probably not found OTL, maybe I wouldn't have been around for it. But the pressure would have been, I probably wouldn't be, because I couldn't find myself on either side of the aisle, really. So here it gives me that ability to not have to comply to either side of this little topic, really. But there is an immense amount of pressure to be one thing or another, especially if you don't gather more knowledge and you gather more information. If you don't, if you settle for something and say, oh yeah, it's that, it's flat, it's a globe, and then that's where you sit, and you're happy with that, or you don't question it anymore, or that guy sounds like he knows what he's saying, that sounds right, yeah, I'll repeat that, whatever. If you're not content with that and that's not enough and you want a little bit more information, and that doesn't make sense, you want to know a bit more, then it can become difficult. It has been for me, and it's kind of, I said before, it's kind of almost imposes itself on my personality, and tries to define me into a certain kind of personality within the arena. So, I find I'm stepping inside these shoes that I didn't buy, I didn't pick up, they're just there, and I suddenly find myself in them, talking in a way and feeling in a way that is something that is being arranged for me and created.
Yeah, you've become some sort of a villain.
Yes, yeah.
To everyone.
Yes. Yeah. And yes, and that's,
I don't know whether
tricky.
I'm sort of responsible for any of that either, or whether like they're just putting us together, because there's nobody more individual in all of this than Elderbear, right? You came into this as an individual, and you're still in it as an individual, right? You can walk away from this as an individual whenever you want. So you're only in it for yourself. Yet,
that's the important part for me.
We've been tied together somehow, and
Yeah.
everything that I do gets lumped onto you, and everything that you do seems to get tied back to me, and it's like a vicious loop where, I don't know, we've been called evil for
Satanic. The other
talking to
day.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, satanic. I couldn't find the link again, but I went looking for it, I couldn't find it because I questioned it. Satanic in question marks. Really? It's incredible, really. Yeah, but the way that kind of lumping us together, or that you are this person, that can be a bit sticky, sometimes sticks, and I find myself having to, wash it off, think, no, that's not me. I'm still individual in this. I'm not going to be defined as that, even though I might play it from time to time. Okay, that's who I am. So, in the last week, I said, yeah, I'm a Bevite. I'm going to reclaim. I'll claim it. Take the power away from it, like an N word or the Q word. Let's just own it. And what are you going to do? Yeah, okay. And it kind of takes the power out of it anyway. Really, it's if you're going to be labelled as it, well, what does it matter really? Because I'm sure if they were, labeled alongside Einstein or Newton or Michelson, Morley or Oakley or I don't know if there's any great flat earthers, Epicurus. People might be quite proud for that to be put along those people, and I don't really know how much original thought is actually in this arena, because everybody's influenced by information and other people greatly. That's just who we are as humans. But to come up with original thought is rare, because we tend to hear other people and take ideas and incorporate them in our own psyche. So I think everybody is guilty of that. If you're going to be lump somebody in and call them a Bevite, there's always an ite to give anybody here, because there isn't an original thought. I guess there are, but they don't stand out. They're not obvious. They're repeating the same stories as if they, the same script, so they all got it from the same place, because they're all repeating the same thing. No kind of original thing. So yeah, it can be a bit difficult to get trapped within the persona that's wanted to be painted for one, and I do have to think about that now and again, and cleanse myself of it, and think, I'm becoming the collective. I don't need that. A true collective I can, I'm happy to be part of, but not these kind of false groups of people that aren't going to get me anywhere really. But I'm also happy to be, unknowledgeable and stupid, and as I go along, trying to find out, what's my truth, because nobody can know everything. Couldn't possibly, you're going to be stumped sometimes. You're going to say the wrong thing sometimes. And I think particularly when you find new information and new ways of being, just this, me talking now isn't how I was talking nearly a year ago when I first started talking on the internet. I'm feel a different person, different. I'm becoming freer. Something more of me is coming out. So, that's a development. And even if I only get that out of it, that's quite something, really.
Yeah,
we
do need more
to kind of
voices.
find your voice on.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We do need more voices, because, like I say, there's lessons to be learned from everyone, right? Everybody's gone through different experiences, so they can bring a different viewpoint to all sorts of things. Because that's why when I was growing up, right, I was always watching everyone, thinking, should I be like that? Should I be like that? So I was always willing to take on everybody else's opinions, because I didn't seem to have anything for myself. You know, I didn't. I always thought I was missing something that everybody else had. So I was trying to find out what it was. But turns out, because I come around this arena, it was the model that I didn't have. And it may have, like, growing up, it may have left me feeling like I was looking for something. You know, trying to find what everyone else had that I didn't. And it turns out that it might have been the model. Still might be the model, right? That makes me ask the questions that I do, because I'm looking for answers, really. But what I've learned is there are so many questions that there's no answer to. You certain things you have to put in the realm of God or epohe, right? Learning epohe and being able to withhold that judgment. That's a great lesson. Maybe I did it beforehand. That's why I was always, you know, asking people, because I didn't have anything there.
Yeah, I question about that, because I you know, this epohe, I came across it, and it was, this word, and didn't know its meaning, and even when it was explained to me in that sense, until you feel it and go, that's what it is. But haven't I been doing that?
Yeah.
Haven't I been doing that before? I just didn't have that word for it, or that kind of way of explaining to, describing to myself, how I put things over there, and they're not really a great concern until they have to be of concern. And I'll find out a bit more about them.
Yeah, I think finding logos as well. There's no words for it, and when you do find it, it's almost as though you already knew it. I mean, that's something that I think they have to deal with this in the philosophy type thing. That if there are self-evident truths, they're the things that you feel like you already knew. When somebody tells you, it could be like a first time hearing it, but you already knew it because it's just so real, right? You can know the truth within it. I think that learning that is it's a gift, because you can also prove these things because they're so real. Like, you don't just need to know that they are true, but you can actually find a proof for it. Discussions like that are pretty much like what we do around here. Like I say, we do need more normal, everyday people to come in and have a chat about this without getting triggered. Nobody wants people to get triggered about shape stuff and bring that divisive conversation in. I'm not interested in it anymore. It's gone. I've learnt my lessons. I mean, we'll still be able to talk to people about it, like Elder Bear's still going through that process where you have to learn this for yourself. So there is a paracosm that's been made that you can enter, and you're sort of, I don't know, it's a safe, but providing your mind is capable of dealing with it, because there'll be a lot of psychological things thrown at you.
I'm really sorry, but I have to test the stereo, so I have to leave for a little bit. I need my phone for it, but I'll be back.
All right.
Oh yeah, I was chasing a thought there. It's a precious gift, that kind of feeling of you already knew it, and I think that's because it is out there. That knowledge is out there in the field, in the universe, in whatever. It is out there, and that recognition of that is that connection of just pure spirit, pure energy that we're part of, and that's, I think, that's where we pick it up, and because it is some kind of essence of truth that we connect to, and that kind of sixth sense, that feeling, yes, that's the truth. You probably couldn't prove it if somebody asked you to, though. But some of those things, guess they go into the belief bit, but
Yeah. Because if you've questioned yourself, then the only way of being able to transmit or pass over that thing is to actually challenge the person that you're talking to, and that often stops people from being able to communicate to accept the knowledge that you're trying to portray, you're trying to hand over within the proof. So I think it takes a certain type of person.
Yeah, some of those things, you need to have that conversation to even work out those ideas. Some of the ideas you have you can feel quite sure about, and then you have a conversation about it with somebody else, and you iron it out a bit and hone it and go, oh yeah, of course it's not okay. It's that little bit. You know what I mean? You can, the conversation helps you to test it, if you like. Just testing it inside your own head is not really enough. But sometimes when you have conversations with people, it becomes sharper, it becomes clearer. You just throw away the dross and the excess parts of it, and that can be a great process. But like I say, often people get a bit triggered by entering the conversation.
The way I see it is if you are required to accept a contradiction, well, I don't know. It's not critical thinking, right? You can't critical think yourself into a contradiction. Yet, modern day life requires you to accept quite a few contradictions, or at least not consider them. And the arena that we've been in, that's what I've been looking at in particular, is this human condition where you've got to be able to accept reality and find some way to accommodate modern day life into it. You have to be able to blend two geometries, really, into one. I mean, how do you incorporate that? Because modern day life requires it. I can only speak through logic to be able to portray this. So you have to be able to
understand.
Oh, hey, what's that?
You just got to make them understand Euclid's fifth postulate, and then it all fall into place.
If only.
Well, after tonight, the world will be converted.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Night.
Here comes the promo team.
Yeah.
I'm going to set up speaker roles, Bev. So do you want anyone else to have that role from this side? I'm going to set it up so only some people can. I have to figure that out.
I
can't set up an event stage, so I'm just worried. I'm pretty much guaranteed people are going to try to disrupt the conversation otherwise. So
yeah, that's what it could have. Could
how
have
come
been
you can't do
it should be a 1v1
event stage?
Don't you need like a certain server level or something to do that?
I don't know. We've got a 3 here.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a boomer admin. I'll figure some solution out.
All of that money you've spent on Flatsoid and McToon.
How
And
much
you've
did I
not,
spend on
you've not
Flatfoot? I
even
didn't
got
Yeah,
yourself
50
some.
quid.
You've not, you could have had a
Was it that much?
level 3. Yeah,
I think you
didn't
should
even
splash
know.
some cash on Oakley, and because
did
he'd
some
love
tunes. Yeah.
that. You'd
You-
get some
Yeah.
space to talk to him. But surely you could. I mean, with the debate, you could have,
It's not.
make
No.
it clear there'd be a.
Nathan Oakley
There'll be a-
doesn't want the money. Like I know he does cry about it, but I mean, he took Mike Jones out of the picture. I think he took Rakir out of the picture. So
Wait, what happened?
he just bans people. Whether it's him or his mods or whatever, but you know, even the people that spend money to just ask a question, right? You know, where
His
maybe
benefactors.
yeah. Maybe they may not be his friends. Maybe they just want to. They've got money and they want him to say things. He's stopped all of that sort of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how it works, but yeah, you should just get yourself some more boosts. You can buy some nitro boosts.
Okay, I'll
If
figure
that's
it out.
what all it takes to get to level 3. The sound quality is so much better. We have it because Buster plays guitar for, in here, and the quality of the sound and everything with level 3 goes right up. Everybody can post bigger pictures, and it's a much better server at level 3 in Discord. Not wanting to promote Discord, but trying to promote Discord.
Yeah.
It's the best platform for debates and chats and stuff.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah, by far.
Can't you
You
set
should
it up
just
that it'll
delete
be
comments.
clear? Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Can't you set it up that it'll be clear? There'll be, depending on everybody agreeing, that there'll be like a question and Q&A thing at the end.
Yeah, but someone's
People-
gonna show up and be a dickhead if you're live streaming just to fuck with your stream. I'm pretty sure.
Just so you know, to have the stage, you have to be a community server.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 1,000 members, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not.
certain a number.
A third of the way there.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
No, it can't be 1,000, can it? No, I don't know how many. Oh,
No,
you
I
have
think
to
you
go
just
through the
have to,
process of.
You just have to apply for it, I think, as far as I know.
You're fast becoming the man, Maud.
I'm trying.
But community server or put your name down on the mark there.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go down in history as a Discord administrator in fucking Flat Earth Society fake debates.
Globe
Yes.
Gangsters.
Globe Gangster. Well, I have to set up my website. I got globegangsters.com was cheap.
Wow.
Nice.
And,
Nobody else had taken it? That's surprising.
I know.
As long as
right?
Peter doesn't
Yeah.
steal your thunder.
It wasn't even expensive at all. So I need to get that set up and my YouTube channel and then start selling the Theodolite plushies.
Are the Globe Gangsters a bit like TT6?
Troll Team
They
6?
are.
Troll Team 6, yeah.
Watch out for
A
Peter.
bit. Yeah.
Oh, you have heard of them then, more?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty new, but I'm getting some of the lore. Jerry gives me all the lore.
Does he?
When he graces me with his presence in voice chat. When he's not triggering Globers with his beautiful humper drop script. Which I love so much. He got NASA shill really good with that the other night. It
Wow.
was fucking hilarious. I can't believe that NASA still falls for it.
That's part of his character. That's what he does.
I know, so I don't
Comes in and
understand
loses
NASA's
his
in
shit.
here. NASA's, well, I guess so, but like, he went from 0 to fuck off and die, Jerry, within less than 5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Have you never heard the classic Brenda and Write the Hand?
Oh, someone sent it to me. Yeah, Carnivore sent it to me. And the top comment says, it sounds like an exorcism. But I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it, you're missing it. Honestly, just listen to it.
But that's what you've got to remember. Those are the people that you have in the arena. Now, you've come in as this nice, friendly type. But the people that you have around you are these, you'd have to say crazy, you know. But I think they're trying to come across as not because they're in your presence or whatever. The question is, can you help them, or are you going to become one of them?
Well, we'll see.
So you're up now for the night then?
No, I gotta
Don't sleep
sleep.
now
I gotta sleep before the debate. I'm gonna take a couple hours rest and then get prepped for that. I stayed up all night, so.
What time will it be for Jesse if it's 8 o'clock in the morning here?
Midnight.
Oh wow! So he might be prepared for a 3-4 o'clock in the morning gig.
He normally goes to sleep at that. You know, like whenever you've have been getting up, Jesse goes to bed. I know that's what he normally does. So yeah, I don't know how well Jesse will handle staying up an hour later or whatever.
I would come over with you, but I think I'd probably annoy too many people just by my presence being there.
Well, they do seem to have a irrational issue with you.
I know, it's because I'm a woman with a strong voice.
I guess so.
You're not a globe woman.
No, I just won't take shit off anybody. Doesn't matter, what team you're on.
And
I
you
don't really
drink.
care. And I don't drink. Yeah. Hang on, why are we saying that again? Oh yeah.
They're saying that because
everyone.
a lot of people say that you're a drunk, and like
Yeah,
Nathan Oakley does that a lot, right? And there's a lot of I can understand why, because I couldn't understand why women would come into this arena like they do.
They don't,
and they're pissed.
Yeah,
it's the only reason that they would come on here, because they're looking for some sympathy or something's happened, and they're lonely or whatever, and they've had a few drinks, and then they come into this arena, and it's pretty sad, really. I think, because I don't know what else there is.
Most women, if they even looked at this arena, they wouldn't last very long. There's no point. The abuse you get, there aren't really any decent conversations. So, like, you just go again. I'm just here because I met quite a good group of people. And I feel a little bit of a moral obligation to point out the flaws in Flat Earth.
Yeah.
And Globe Earth, like both of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I invited do you know what's her name? Pumpkin? Do you know who that person is? Apparently she has a server, but
yeah, I'm not sure if it's the same person.
Pumpkin from a fair bit ago.
But this is a long time, years ago, early 24/7 days.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's for 6 or 7 years
so it might not
ago.
be the same. Yeah, it might not be the same.
She came over for a bit and was like, I don't want to argue flat Earth. And then it was chill in the VC for a while, and then Larry and the other autards just couldn't help themselves and just started dogpiling her on the flat Earth stuff. I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys.
Yeah, they're obsessed with it.
She didn't want to go 8v1 versus a bunch of like old men right now. I mean, that's the kind of thing I do, it's not for everyone.
And now we've got Zama getting programmed ready for the kickoff.
Oh yeah. She's getting work, she's working her way up the chain.
I just need to nip away for a minute. So you guys all right chatting?
Yeah, I was just going to say I've yet to hear Zalmar, unless I know them by a different name.
She's only been around for like a month. She's like come in and out, and then she got into it like pretty regularly the last month.
Okay.
Mostly on Earth Awakenings.
Oh, that's interesting. I feel for her. She's right in the middle of it over there.
Yeah, I don't know how long she's been in it in her head if she's not been in the arena. But taking on this experiment of globe versus flat Earth celestial navigation is a bit of a deep water to jump straight into.
It's a lofty goal. Well, she was destroying them at Earth Awakenings. I mean, they're not the strongest server, but Elbow was having to jump in, which he only usually does if he doesn't usually jump in unless someone's posing a challenge, you know.
Yeah, maybe that's who I heard the other day, Elbow. Yeah, she was. I was chatting to Zarmar about it in there, and then she came in as if to kind of deflect or take it away onto some other direction, because I'd asked her how she was going to because she said she needs to first make a model, a globe model and a flat Earth model, and test this the celestial navigation of the models, and I'd asked how she was going to represent the flat one, and she said a piece of paper, flat piece of paper. And I said, what tools are you using and how will they translate from the model into the real world? And so in the model, she's going to use a protractor. I said, how's that going to translate to a sextant? Because there isn't a horizontal there. The Earth isn't flat, so why are you putting a protractor on a flat bit? Because there isn't that. She's trying to replicate some model, but maybe it was that I was kind of questioning, the flat bit that triggered them to come in and take over. But it was a bit, it was then two women having a bit of a cat fight.
Yeah.
For a bit.
On Earth Awakenings?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that was morning, yeah.
Yeah, people were loving that. Everybody, the chat.
You mean the men were loving it because the only two women in the room were the ones arguing.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to point that out to the audience.
Very inappropriate jokes and gifts in the chat. Let's just say that.
Of course, yes. Because what happens when two women try and have a conversation?
It turns into a weird thing.
Yeah, but
it absolutely does.
Yeah, she was talking on Gangsters when I first heard her, and she was talking about some things she did at university, which thesis to provide these toilets for the homeless in LA, and she was talking about the problems of introducing them and separating the liquid from the fecal matter, and but also about that she said that she's got a childlike voice, and she looks like a child, and how people react to her when she speaks to them, and they're a bit patronizing or think that she doesn't know what she's talking about, and Scott Mackey and other people again, oh yes, I understand, in a sort of a bit of a patronizing way, in the way that she was describing was being done to her, and so I made a bit of a joke about that. But then she was talking about this porta potties and having these porta potties, and but she brought up this thing called the Coanda effect. I never heard of it, and she was explaining it's when you run water off of a spoon, how it deflects off, and you can use a Hoover or a jet of air and a ping pong ball. But she posted, I said, oh, that's interesting. Scott thought I was just trolling her. Yeah, that's interesting. She did this posted this link to it, and it was it applies to the air pressure on the wing of an aeroplane as well. And so I got talking to her about, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that's included when the argument is you're looking for, the flat earthers have been looking for this pitch data.
Oh yeah, that's what flatsoid. That's
dip
what they're
down?
asking for on flatsoid.
Yeah, well, that's come from Brian's logic, pretty
okay.
much, and that's his thing. And he was demanding that of Will Duffy without actually speaking to Will Duffy, and saying,
Gotcha.
Don't waste all your money going down there. All we need is the pitch data. So and we know they're not flying around the globe. That's what he was saying, Irish guy, not a Pakistani, but yeah. So that's kind of where it comes from, and they did a big thing on QE last Saturday, where they've got this information and some. He claims he's not a pilot. He's got a master's in engineering. This guy who gave them this information about where they could find this pitch data. And so they'd finally got this last piece of their jigsaw to present their evidence that the plane doesn't actually deviate from horizontal. So it was just an interesting point of wondering about this Coanda effect, to wonder how that might, what implication that might have in that, for instance. Just another little thing to think about, really. And Scott, he muted me he said, "Oh, that's it. You can't talk about that anymore."
What happened? I saw that you were muted, and I was like, "What happened?"
Yeah, then he said, "If you come back and you mention it again," and I said, and he unmuted me, and I said, "Well, I'm genuinely interested because of how it might have implications on this pitch data." He said, "That's it. You're done for the day." So I was muted for the whole day. Yeah, it's quite funny. But she does engage.
Yeah.
Talk to you, even and admit that she's, that's the limit of my knowledge. I can't help you any further. That's, it's quite good.
Yeah.
But she's made a few mistakes already, so I'm sure somebody will be running behind her with a big brush.
You guys have to clip this moment. Did you hear I don't know if you were watching the stream last night with McToon, but Shane, I asked them about first and second order measurements, and Shane said a first order measurement is qualitative and a second order measurement is quantitative.
Yeah,
I've never got to let him live that down.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Have you got a filing system for all your clips now?
No, I need to put them together, because I also I went on Earth Awakenings and I was playing along with Geo's wild speculation, because he has his quadrupole models, and now he's added 5 suns to the quadrupoles to try to explain all this shit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's getting complicated. And so I was saying that, but he was like, yeah, but the issue would be in between the quadrupole star rotations, where there would be extra poles of extra transition zones of rotation. And then I was like, yeah, but you have constructive and destructive interference and subduction of the celestial plates, and then that would fix it. He's like, oh man, I just love the way that you phrased that. And I'm just making shit up to fuck with him, He's just eating it up, and I'm like, dude, this is too fucking funny.
Well, it might be funny at the moment, right? But you realise that you might be actually dealing with mad people that are, they're trying to construct a model to deal with their reality, but their reality is chatting to people on Discord.
Yeah.
And if there are people that they're chatting to are people like you that are fucking about with them, and they're trying to construct a fucking reality around it, it can be a little bit, it might be fun for a while, but at some point, you're gonna meet your George, right?
George.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll meet your George. And you'll see a lonely guy that's just trying to find somebody to talk to. He's got nothing else. Literally nothing else. Other than talking about this sort of thing. And then when people start, instilling hatred into that sort of stuff, and like what we're seeing at the minute, there's people out there calling us evil, satanic.
Oh, that's what McToon said.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know you very well, and McToon sent the first wave of people over to my server, and I was like, "Yeah, who's this Bev guy?" And he's like, "Bev is an evil turd." Like, well, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? And then he said Jerry was pure evil too.
Ooh.
He replied to Jerry in my server, and he said, "You are pure evil." Like, Jerry. Jerry's just harmless. He just wants to have a good time. That's all Jerry wants to do, and fuck with Globers that take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are into this arena that are far too much into it, right? We have the term model affliction.
Yeah.
Because it's a real condition that, people should really consider what's going on. Because if you accept a contradiction into your internal logic system, and I know it's required, modern day mathematics sort of teaches it, physics sort of gives you a grasp of it too.
Well, yeah, modern physics can't function with the law of non-contradiction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
yeah, sorry.
What does that do to a mind?
Yeah.
Particularly when, maybe that mind isn't cut out for it, because it does take a certain type of mind to go there. And if that mind isn't quite capable of it, a little bit lonely, nothing else to do, living on dreams of, maybe false dreams of careers past. You never know.
Yeah.
Godzilla says, flat earthers that take themselves too seriously seems to have grown into a larger problem than Globers doing it recently. Anyways, it's all right. It depends who you're around. I mean, there's if you've got people like McToon,
Bev, I find I get equally treated by both sides.
Yeah, I think we've been the same, haven't we?
Horribly.
Yeah.
Not even allowed to change my own name in certain servers.
Yeah.
Yeah, what were you going to say about McToon?
There's a lot of calls of this evil stuff, right? And McToon, he's been in Will Duffy's church. He lied to the congregation. I mean, McToon says it was a misspeak. But, I mean, he did. He's not made an apology. And he's calling us evil. Yeah. He's calling a lot of people evil. I'm not too sure how well it's going to go down. I know McToon's not going to change. Maybe it's because of all of the stuff we've got on him when he was talking about it early on. Because they've learnt the horizontal level argument from us. Everything that they know is like an antithesis type thing. Sort of, they've been taught it, really. Because all of their real globe surveyors, they have gone missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just Larry left, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The last one.
And Jesse.
And Jesse, the trainee.
Yeah, he's the new guy. Because it takes a special type of person. Can't actually be a surveyor.
Yeah. Just do that shit for fun.
Well, yeah, you can't be a surveyor and enter this arena. You won't find one. There would never will be a surveyor in this arena.
Yeah? Why is that?
It's because if they were to say that level was horizontal, these guys have been conditioned to say that that's flat Earth, and yet every surveyor would say it.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure practicing surveyors would even comment on it. I just think they've probably been warned.
It's a bit like all those pilot things, isn't it? People said, I was on this flight and I spoke to the pilot when I got off. I'm sure all the pilots are going, yeah, it's flat as anything, mate. It's that kind of thing. Just give the neutral answer, or go, yeah, no, it looks pretty flat to me.
Why would they even get involved in it? If someone random came up to you while you were working, doing your job, and asked you, questions about that kind of stuff, you just be like, okay, you probably listen, but would you really engage in it if you're, like a pilot or whatever? I don't think you'd bother, unless you were having a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
But even then, in today's day and age, with everything being recorded, and I just don't think people would talk about that stuff at all. Nothing.
Yeah, there won't be any surveyors coming to this arena. I know that, because why would they?
Yeah,
I've been in this trying my best to not get surveyors involved in this, because they're just people who are living their lives, right? And I don't know why the people within this arena have decided that level isn't horizontal. I find it amusing.
Inversion.
You should just be able to put it on your globe. I'm sure most people do.
Yeah, figure it out. Well, the non-dogmatic globe, anyway.
Well, anyone. Just normal people living with their globes.
Yeah.
They have level being horizontal. It's not a problem to them. They're not aware that there may be implications to it that a lot of people want them to know about, right? Maybe they don't need to know it, I think.
Yeah. But who's this tiny captain chap? He just showed up on my server.
I think he's from Blue Marble. He's a Blue Marble scientist.
Oh, okay.
Maybe from Bob server. I think I remember him from those places.
He's probably a sock account of someone you already know.
I think. Well, he's the guy that does the boat stuff. The sextant. There was a rise of a load of people that, whenever they need pilots or boat captains or whatever to do celestial navigation to prove the globe, or maybe the flat Earth, I don't know, saving lives at sea, then people emerge. I don't know anything about him other than the fact that he seems to be one of the people that don't really like us, let's say.
Oh yeah, he does not
built
seem
up a
to.
fan club.
Yeah, see what happens in this arena is You can say anything about anybody, and like Chinese whispers, it then becomes gospel. And both sides do it, but I've noticed it a lot with the Globers at the moment. Just well, to be fair, they all do it. They think if enough of them say something, it makes it true.
Oh.
And half the time, it's entirely made up, entirely fabricated, or there's some slight sliver of truth in there, but then everything else has become like twisted and what have you. And it's amazing how fast, like, new people that come in are then kind of given this information and they take it as gospel, right?
Yeah.
You've been told by 5 people that, you know, that person over there is a really nasty person. You're just going to kind of go with the group, you know, it's groupthink. That's what happens. But it happens so much in this arena. It's fascinating, frankly.
Yeah.
And Maud, when you can get to the level of just changing your Discord name and that triggers people, you know you're spot on.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Well, I need to pass out for a few hours. I will get the server set up for the stream. I guess maybe stop by like 15 minutes before, just in case we need to iron out any kinks.
Yeah, well, I've got going live at 2:45.
Okay.
8. So
cool.
I don't know.
I'll DM you in a couple hours.
Yeah. If you're gonna sort your server out for the thing and you're best testing it.
Yeah, I will for sure.
All right.
Cool. See y'all later.
Catch you later.
Yeah, take care.
Can I just predict right now it's going to end up being a shit show?
Yeah, it sounds like it, doesn't it?
No offense to
really
Maud.
what it'd be like if he just has a room with us in it, and then they can watch it on YouTube if they want to watch it. That'd be the best thing. Otherwise, he's going to be struggling. I don't
think that's going to happen, and the chat will be a nightmare as well. But it's all good for everyone to see, I suppose.
I've got a new tune. I've been working.
Oh, is this the one you did today?
Yes.
Oh, this one, I love this one.
Emma likes
this one.
Foot stomper.
Makes me chuckle as well.
So as I said the other day, I was preparing an everywhere little ditty for, well, you know who. And today I've done it. So let me you guys in Discord jump into the stream. You ready? You all in?
Yep.
Let me check. Oh, he says there's one person in there. Nobody else in.
Yeah, that's me.
I know. What about everybody else in the Discord? Are you all watching it on YouTube or?
Possibly.
Yeah. Oh, it's just only 2 of you. Okie dokie. Well, you guys in Discord can't hear then?
Yeah, I'm in.
There we go. Ready?
You've got nothing. You got a pure geometric argument, that's all. And that absolutely does not prove anything. Everybody knows that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular, and now everybody knows mean sea level is established at a point, and it goes everywhere.
Perpendicular lines meet in the air, horizontal and vertical everywhere. Drawing shapes with a flare, just globe dreams we'll share.
Oh my God.
Horizontal planes so wide and clear, building worlds everywhere. Everywhere. In the lines we find our cheer. Geometric love, my dear. Everything is always everywhere. Angles meet with precision and care. Geometry
Everywhere.
flows in the precious air. Everywhere we look,
Everywhere.
everywhere,
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Circles turning round and round,
Oh my God.
shapes and patterns all around.
Oh God.
Lines that vanish without a sound. Loving the logic that
my
we
God.
found.
Mean sea level.
Intersecting heart's design. Drawing Euclid in
Oh
every
my God.
sign.
Mean sea level.
Parallel paths will never meet.
Oh God.
Symmetry on every line. Everything is always everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Angles meet with precision and care. Geometry flows in the precious air. Everywhere we
Everywhere.
look, everywhere,
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Perpendicular lines meet in the air. Horizontal and vertical
Everywhere.
everywhere. Drawing shapes with a flair. Just globe dreams we'll share.
Mean sea level is established
Don't be
at a
praying.
point, and it goes everywhere. Everywhere. Oh my God.
That was great.
Like that. I'll be putting that
Yeah,
out on the YouTube
I like that.
as a thing. We'll be doing a. I'll be sorting that out. Oh,
Yeah, bits with blue fitting really well.
I am
you guys hear
doing
me?
another one. Blue marble science versus Euclid, and the parallel verticals. That's the one we're doing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Blue may not like it too much, but I think it was hilarious, and it's like an ode to Blue, is what it seems like to me. Like you're giving him some recognition.
Well,
Sorry about the beeping.
yeah. It means sea level is a point, and it goes everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, that's where it's perpendicular, horizontal and vertical are perpendicular there too. And they go everywhere, just like it.
I also missed Mordwand. It was my phone was charging next door. So many things I have to say to that guy. So, anyways, yeah, I hear him a lot over at Geo's, and when he said something about, yeah, I was just making shit up, that I really wanted to say something to him in that moment, because that really got to me, because I was there when he was just making shit up.
Yeah, and everybody knew he was
Like,
just
if you're gonna
making
go
shit
into
up.
if you're gonna go into a server and just make shit up, and you think by one flat earther going, hey, yeah, that was a good thing you said, all the other guys that didn't say anything know you're full of shit. So your little hurrah that I pulled the wool over some idiot's eyes is just weird to me. You know what I mean? But that's Mordwan.
Yeah, I mean,
Sea Lion
that's-
Prime or something.
Yeah, that's what happens within this arena, because there are people that are looked down on within this arena. I guess both sides do it, right? You've seen Nathan Oakley do it, and equally it happens the other way around. Yeah,
I do it myself to the atheists. Like I feel bad for them to the point that I kind of say things that I don't think I should say, and I always feel bad afterwards, and I end up having to go back and apologize to them because I feel bad for talking to them that way. But like in the moment, they're being ridiculous according to my worldview. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's where I'm at.
Well, that's what this arena's all about, isn't it? It's putting that division in. And I don't know whether modern life does it as well.
Oh yeah, it does. I actually, thank God for my dad. me and my mom were out at my birthday dinner, and my mom said something about Kamala Harris, and I said something about Kamala Harris, and the way my mom's face just changed, I was like, oh, maybe I hit a nerve. But then I said to my mom, don't worry, Mom, I think both of them are fucking idiots. But yeah, it was strange. Good thing my dad was there. My dad cut it off. He was like, no, we're not going to talk about that tonight. Thanks, Dad.
Oh, thank you very much, Gords. You've sent some memberships. Some familiar faces.
Anyway, I better get talking now. See, this is Neil's theory. If you, when they're given out, you get one. Yeah, I know it works. You just gotta talk. If somebody gives you some memberships, you talk, you'll get one. It happens all the time.
Yeah, Neil commented on the original Church of the Religion that you never knew you had. And for me, that's one of the best sort of things that's come out of this. Just, for quite a while, is something new for me to get a grip on. Like the understanding that there is a religion underlying all of this sort of stuff. If you really want to go into it and work out for yourself the identity of what a religion is, rather than just saying, like Rob said with the atheists, just that, no God. But what's a religion? I don't think religion's ever really been anything to do with that. But that's the conversation that I don't think anybody wants to have. I think, I think there's a lot more to it when you start looking at this sort of stuff. And I've never been one to push my personal things on anyone. So I've been able to keep it to one side. But the Church of the Religion that you never knew you had, that definitely requires talking about. Because I think that's what all of this is about, really. People trying to deal with modern life and then trying to find that spiritual thing as well, wondering, what the fuck are we doing here? What's it all about? So yeah, if Neil does want to come and talk about it, because I know Neil's quite religious. It must be difficult listening to people talking about a religion that you never knew you had, whilst you being religious. How do you understand what people are talking about? How's the same religion? Like, how is it the same religion? I don't know. Could you have two religions?
Yeah, I've often wondered about that, because the FED, the lead guys are like Adam and Nathan admit to being Christian, and then they kind of like talk for everybody else in a sense. So I kind of wondered, like, for Neil, who's obviously got a strong faith, he reads the Bible. It says he reads the Bible a lot. How he feels about those representing him, in a sense, for both things, for the flat earth and for the religious side, or the religious opinion, how they interpret that.
Can you also extend the welcome to Brian's logic as well? If at any point he'd like to come and talk somewhere where he's not going to get treated the way he does. I mean, I don't know whether he can see it, but pretty much like every time I've listened to Nathan Oakley, I know Neil, gets told to shut up, but even he doesn't get spoken to the way Brian does by Nathan and Adam.
Don't think he can see
Yeah,
it.
it's that little Irish racism they chuck in every now and then. Say it's a joke, but I can imagine that might wear a bit thin after a while, I would have thought. But I said the other day, I feel like, that Brian's been sort of kicking back and biting back a bit, and giving some resistance. Feels like, something's not all perfect there. And I think, with his streams that he puts out, he's taken a lot of the FE flack from the Globers because it's the technical stuff. It's not what Nathan does. Nathan doesn't do that. But Brian's connected with FED, and then he puts out some more technical stuff and some technical ideas that draw a lot of attention from the Globers, and maybe some of that's FED stuff. Having a go at Nathan through Brian, or questioning Brian about some of those attitudes and things, and that's not really Brian's thing to have to deal with, but I think he is, and maybe that's kind of having an effect on him, that he feels his stuff isn't being treated, as seriously as he'd like it to be. So yeah, well, it would be good to be able to talk to Brian about some of those things. I mentioned something the other day, way yellow. That's it. It's a pity, really. Because he says those things that I to him, he says those to Nathan. Yeah, but it's not, it's not, you don't measure the earth flat. And Nathan says, well, it's a convenient little thing to say. It rolls off the tongue. It's not actually real, but it sounds good.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I realised that I've not been live since Monday, have I? So there's loads of music I've done.
Go on.
So I don't know whether you guys heard these ones or not. This one's only a short one.
Yeah, the country style ones are quite good.
Yeah.
The recent ones.
So this is I did one Tis Globe 33 times. I wrote Tis Globe 33 times, dedicated to 33. And this is what came out.
Tis globe, tis globe, tis globe. 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 Tis globe, tis globe, tis globe, tis globe, tis globe, tis globe. Tis globe, tis globe, tis globe. Tis globe, tis globe, tis globe. It is globe, tis globe. Tis globe. Tis globe, 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 tis globe. Tis globe, globe. Tis globe, 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 tis globe. It is globe, tis 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 globe, tis. Globe.
Tis globe. Got loads of those for any style. Really going to sell the globe. May as well just accept the globe. Because I don't know. Like God says, there's probably a lot worse coming. So you may as well just have the globe. Reclaim the globe. What is it? This idea of, grasping the logos, having the grammar, and knowing that the model was taken away from me. So what is globe? Ask yourself that. How is it that I can see it as it's just reality? It's a picture that you put in your head. In the olden days, they'd say your world, but it's comes from German. It just means, everything that you see, you experience, you pace it all together, and that would become your world view. Globe's no different. Except somebody's giving you a model. It doesn't change what reality is, and that you're meant to place reality onto this model of a globe. Well, just imagine you're like me. There's no model to put it on. There's no model of anything to put it on. So what do? It's just reality. Anything that happens in reality that you can find proof of has to go on the globe. You can't deny your own proofs. Because a model that you don't have dictates it that you can't have these proofs. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I guess people are coming from a different position. I've been here trying to talk to people about it. Not many people actually want to get to that part, to have that particular conversation. They'd much rather gaslight me and tell me it's my fault. Yeah, Godzilla. It is that shape that you know as a globe is a non-geometric shape. You can't fit any geometric properties to it. It's a globe. That's the whole point of it. I'm struggling to understand why people can't see that. It's not flat. Definitely not flat. And if they're the choices that you get, then the globe is the reality that you're left with. It's not flat. Mountains and valleys will see to that. Oh, that's a bit of a poem. Somebody want to write that down?
Yeah, you can't use those words with one dex. Anything
It's
that
not.
ends in at.
Yeah, I put not flat, didn't I? Say not flat.
Oh,
Mountains and
not,
valleys
yeah.
will see to that.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to use
Yeah.
mountains and valleys? Or have I just shirked all of...
Yeah, call yourself 2-deck property, Jay.
Yeah. 2 decks. That's me, lad. Just the mixing.
Yeah, very good as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a debate on tomorrow morning. Horizontals. It'll be a yawn fest, right? Everybody's had enough of that sort of stuff. I mean, they're onto different things. They've got Who says that mountains don't exist? I think that's where we're going. You know, well, we are talking about horizontal. It's just the geometric understanding of horizontal, the implications that comes of knowing that horizontal and vertical are both straight lines. That's the one I'm doing at the minute, Blue Marble Science. It's not a sphere though, gods. Spheres are smooth. You've got mountains and valleys. It's obviously not a sphere. Can't be a sphere with mountains and valleys. Don't tell me about pool balls. Don't want to know. It's not a pool ball. Yeah, it does. It definitely does, God. So there's a way of being able to talk to real people about this stuff. That this sort of stuff definitely does help. It eases the tension when talking to people. It's not flat. It's a globe. But once you realise some of the requirements that are necessary, you may as well just sort of not go there. Hey, there's a lot of fun to be had. Yeah, God, that's exactly what I've been saying. A lesson that I learned. I was looking for why I was different, and it's because I don't have that model. It was taken from me. Just literally, I don't have it. So that lets me know that it's just something that you've been given in childhood. And there's a lot of people that act the way that they do because that's where the model was given to them. You'll never take it off them. You've just got to find a way to communicate. And prodding them with something that, it's like a severe cog dis, but you can't get rid of the model that you've been given that's been locked in. You can't do it. Well, I say you can't do it. Some people probably can. Not many, though. Globe is everyone's. We've been talking about reality. I don't say it to upset people. I say it because, it's just a shape. I don't know, because this arena is this arena, right? And everybody within this arena's talking about this thing that you've been given as a child. Every one of us, probably from your parents, and your parents. They've all been conditioned to sort of give you this model before you learned from a logic process, before reasoning ever came into your cognitive development. You were given this model. Can't get rid of it. It's locked in. You've just gone through life fitting everything that you see and everything that you know onto the model that you've been given. But that stuff that you've put on it, that was just reality. Yeah, I'm not too sure that you can like get people to snap out of it that easily. You can talk to them about reality though, right? And if you can explain that, you know, your globe's the same as theirs, but the implications of certain basic things are ultra triggering to a certain group of people. Now, that person that you're talking to might also be triggered by those certain things. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the flat earth has been taught to people as a similar sort of way. Well, I think the real globe gets people to focus on the fact that the globe is a construct that, you know, you have inside your mind. If that construct tells you you have to accept a contradiction in order for it to be, you know, for it to be true, then I don't know. I don't know how we would go on with. Nobody's ever taught anything about any of this sort of stuff. But they are going to be putting it into the school system along with an idea of critical thinking. And if there's anything that's like troubling, is trying to incorporate critical thinking into a system that requires contradictions. I'm not too sure that you can go through a critical thinking process with the contradictions. But if people have been so far removed from logic that they can't see the contradiction anyway, what use is the critical thinking? Our definition of globe is the most inclusive definition of globe there could be. If you wanted to get people to come to an understanding of what we're all together, rather than trying to put a division into it, then a definition of globe, the on the level definition of globe, is definitely the most inclusive. I say it's a non-geometric shape, a globe. And I'd take on any challenges for that as well. But I suppose that's for a different time, different conversation, whether somebody's willing to take on that. I've definitely had enough, done enough research, right? And I know that people have become confident in the fact that there is no proof, but I think there is. I really do. Yeah, you don't want to, most of the thing I've learned is that you don't really want to be talking about this to people because you don't want to bring them into this arena. You ready for another? Exactly, good. There's proof that globe is a non-geometric shape. That's where we're going. 'Tis globe. It's just the globe isn't what you think it was, right? You've been given a model as a child, but that's not the real globe. That's just a model that you were given as a child. You fitted everything on it. Reality's different, obviously. You guys still in here? This one.
Yep.
I've got another. See whether I can get you going with this then, guys. Where's my screen? There we go.
Tis globe, 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 it is globe, tis globe. Tis globe. Tis globe, tis globe, tis globe, tis globe, tis globe, tis globe. Tis globe, 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 tis. Tis globe, tis globe. Tis globe, tis globe, tis globe, tis globe. Tis globe, 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 tis globe. Tis globe, tis globe, tis globe.
Yeah, that's a song to get behind, that. Tis globe. It's just a shape. But, you know, people have real emotions about it. It's just a shape, though. I'm working on one at the minute. Blue Marble Science versus Euclid. Well, it's not versus because it, you know, he does a Euclidean argument. And yeah, if there's any globers out there that want to use the Tis Globe music as a theme tune, They can, yeah, I've got all sorts of heavy metal. Tis globe. Monastical. Got a few of them. I was looking at all of the other stuff. I have made quite a few of these. I seem to be the globe salesman that, you know, they don't want me part of their team. It's weird. But I think in order to bring it up to date with modern times, 2024 and all of that sort of stuff, I think people are ready for it. I think people are ready for the contradiction. For, like, you know, shoving it right in the face. Like, this is globe. It's 2024. We should be able to just come together. It's a globe, gods. It's not flat. It can't be flat. I mean, look at that mountain over there. That's not flat. Flat earthers want me to accept a mountain as being flat. And the globe guys as well. They want to try and convince me that mountains are flat. And I'm not having it. They're not. Mountains aren't flat or smooth. It's my new t-shirt idea. False dichotomy brand of t-shirts. I think learning the logic is one of the keys to being able to see the contradiction. And if people learn logic, then they're able to spot the contradictions for themselves. Sadly, I think not everybody is capable of doing logic. I don't think the modern education system set people up for it. I believe that's because people aren't given the that. They're just given a load of not that's. And they have to picture the that for themselves. That's why, gods, that's why it is globe. Has to be. There's no other outcome. You've just maybe not aware that everybody's globe's different. Only the people that think about it are the ones that, you know, maybe somebody gives somebody an idea to think about it, and then they are capable of thinking about it. But if nobody's pushed to it, I don't think anybody thinks about it at all. Now, you might think about it if you see an article like we started off today with. Like, that might be a cause for you to think about it. But what would you think? Would you think, hey, there's not enough science in schools if so many people on TikTok believe this? I don't know. It's how you think about it. Try thinking. Yeah, the reactions, I don't think it's programmed. It's like it's because it's ingrained. It's taught and it's locked in before reasoning. So there's nothing that you can relate to it that fits with the logic. The logic came after the model. Yeah, gods, I think I don't know. My introduction to this arena was because somebody told me, that the horizon should rise to eye level. And I said, no. Why would it do that? So that was my introduction. Then the moment, they they said that, I realised that I haven't been taught anything about anything. Nobody taught me about anything about this stuff. But I do know that, stories that have been told afterwards. Maybe the internet, I was already growing up as the internet was being brought around. Maybe it's different nowadays. People being able to access all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, George, I think you're talking about them. I don't think they are a massive group. I think there's way more people than there are Globers, because they're the ones that are obsessed. They're the model afflictions taking over. And that's exactly what you don't want to be doing. You don't want to be introducing people to turn them into, people. I don't know. But it goes the same for flat earthers. Flat earthers are exactly the same. All you want to do is talk about reality. But people are afflicted by a model. And there's like a competition between the two. It's getting too much. Yeah, I have my dad and the missus, and there's quite a few people that I have around me that I can check all of these things with them, and they definitely live in reality. And they've definitely got a globe, right? Can't take it off them. But you can communicate with them about the stuff. I can anyway. And if I can communicate with them, I'm pretty sure anyone can. I'm not as bad as what everybody says. I mean, don't listen to McToon when he says we're evil, or Betty. We're not. So the people that want to talk about this are already model afflicted, and they've already picked their sides, and they just want to try and convince people to get on the other side or whatever. I don't know what they're in it for, because it just seems divisive. So yeah, I can't see me being involved in it much longer, because everybody knows what's happened and what happens to anybody like me. And I consider myself the voice of my dad and the missus, just the voice of normal people. No, my father. Everybody has to, you have to communicate with people. And it seems like anybody that's model afflicted, you can't communicate with them. The model takes over. And there's a lot of people in this arena that have, they've been in it for a long time. The model's with them. But they're in it. It's an interesting thing to be in. But sooner or later, you begin to realise that there's not really much purpose in sticking around, because people have learned to hate, and they particularly learn to hate anybody that becomes associated with us. And I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to be involved with that sort of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't think you should bring people into this arena at all. I don't think you should bring strangers into this arena. I don't think you should bring anybody into this arena. The people within this arena are happy doing what they do, and they're going to get out of it whatever they want. I don't know what you're being deceived about, though. If you're talking about it, then the only people that are deceiving anybody are the ones that, when you come into this arena. Nobody's taught anything about the globe apart from the people in this arena. And most of the time they're telling you something to tell you it's not that. Yeah, I'm finding less and less in this arena particularly, but I've found loads within logic. Now, I'm not going to be going anywhere, so we're still going to be doing the logic stuff. We're still going to be pointing out where the contradictions are in modern life and all of that. That's not going to change. Just I don't see any much use in communicating with people that think I'm evil, and they're not going to change. The more words I say to them, the more evil they'll think I am. I don't know what people are taught. Nobody's ever said what they were taught about the globe. It may start working its way into the school system, but I wasn't taught a thing about it. Definitely taught more about it by the people in this arena. Some of the stuff I've been taught is amazing. Some might say impossible. Putting the pieces together is, well, I'd say it's impossible. Yeah, I know. Not many people think we're evil, but there's enough, and they're loud enough to let everybody else know. you can believe that. And because this is a YouTube channel, right, and a Discord server, then we go by the reputation of what people say. And when people are out there saying derogatory things about us, then we can't really do anything about it. You can't just keep addressing it all the time, because then they'll say you're moaning and whinging about it. You should just sort of get a grip. It's a pretty destructive arena, which I think, you know, it's becoming enough. Our hermit really got the attention of QE and Oakley. Yeah. They don't want to talk about anything. They'd rather do exactly the same as what everybody else does, even on the Globe guys' side. They're happy with their arena that they have. False dichotomy and all. So they can go on with the dogmatic globe versus flat. And we'll just do the real stuff. Right, well, anyway, I've got the debate out in the morning, so, I mean, there probably won't be many people watching, but it will be recorded for anybody that wants to watch it, because I've got a list of debates, and I don't think anybody would ever believe the debate titles that I've had. So this one's going to be interesting as well, along a similar sort of line. Probably won't be liked, but you know. Right, so let me check. I'll get the blue marble one out sorted soon. Should have a little bit more tomorrow to add to it's just a pity it's with Jesse Gordon. Anyone got any requests? Any music? Anyone want to hear? Anything we've not heard for a bit? No. No end up. I'll be back again in how many hours? 9 hours ish. I'm gonna finish with the Church of the Religion. You never knew you had. I think this is the best song I've done so far. Right, I'll see you in the morning if you want to watch it. I've got to go and get some kip. See you later. Country song. No, I'll give you the church one. I've got it queued up. See you later.
Welcome to the church of the religion you never knew you had. Welcome to the place unknown, religion seated seated when you were grown. Hidden lessons went along. Truth is here now in this tone. Shadow plays on the wall. You never knew you learned it all. Secret speak as echoes call. Feel the rise, don't fear the fall. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked. Rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked. They whispered while you dreamt so deep. Planted truths while thoughts were free. In the dark their secrets keep. Now you're part of this belief. From unknown roots your faith has spread. Follows you where'er it's led. Watch the shadows lie in bed. Find the path that you've been fed. The church of the religion they never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked. Rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked. Whispered while you dreamt so deep. Planted truths while thoughts were free. In the dark their secrets keep. Now you're part of this belief. From unknown roots your faith has spread. Follows you where'er it's led. Watch the shadows lie in bed. Find the path that you've been fed. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked. Rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked.